Francis Rossi, I talk too much.
I do.
Could be about me, but it's about you.
No, I do talk too much.
No, you don't. This is really honest, and there's no point in writing a book if you're not going to be totally honest about it.
Well, I don't think so. Lots of it's been documented anyway about
Yeah,
what I did wrong. So yeah.
What I thought was really interesting, you know, you were saying sometimes you came across, especially in the early days, as being a bit cocky, but actually the other reverse side of that was you were quite insecure as well.
Yeah, I'm a Gemini, if you're into that thing. This side is cocky and Jack the Lad, and the other side's far too insecure. I have to try and get a balance. And it doesn't work often.
Well, it does work now, though, because you survived. You survived all this. You have. No, but you really have. There's a lot of your contemporaries that haven't.
Yeah.
And you're still here.
Yeah, some people don't think that's so good.
No,
but you do. I don't know, you just think to get through it. I was kind of lucky, I suppose. I
think so. I think it's luck, and it's also like, I mean, you changed your lifestyle. You had a crazy lifestyle. I mean, it was. People think now that it's a bit mad, you know, sex and drugs and rock and roll and all of that. But back in your day, it really was, and nobody was on Twitter finding you out. You could get away with such a lot more.
No, but I think some of it was exaggerated. Somebody said to me the other day that in one of the papers that he thought did I sleep with 25,000 women?
Good grief.
That would have worked out 500 a year. And as I said to you earlier, there's a backlog. I've got to catch up and finish, I'll see.
Even you even you wouldn't have the energy to do that, frankly.
Or the inclination, I don't think.
No. Because that's the other thing. You met somebody that loves you and you love her. That was back in the early 90s. Again, with you, nothing's ever straightforward. She was pregnant at the time with someone else's baby. But she's been brilliant for you, hasn't she? Yeah,
she allows me to do this and be obsessed about being in status quo or one's career. Yeah. You know what that's like. That's what we do, so it's all important. And I grew up in retail, so I learnt that the business comes first.
Right.
And luckily, she's indulged me enough to allow me to do that.
But that's really important to have somebody, and to have somebody always on your side.
Yeah, but she's a strange woman.
She's not really.
Delightfully strange is what I
mean. No, well, exactly. And, of course, you talk about Rick in the book, and you knew each other since, like, what, 67, I guess?
65, I met him the day I was 16, yeah.
Wow.
I met him, my first wife and her sister on the same day.
God, that's extraordinary.
My life went pear-shaped straight away after that.
But with you two, you were like brothers, and when you are brothers, of course, you get on incredibly well. There's always going to be times that you don't.
Yeah, but also I've realised that any of those relationships, and we kind of overplayed it, I suppose, and upset people. And a band is about us and them, and then with Rhea and Rick, it was us and them and them. But I think that various people try to get in between those relationships to manipulate either one of us at any time. And I think that's where it went wrong with us. And when I went through the drink and the drugs with him, when I cleaned up somewhat and he didn't, particularly with alcohol, that's where we would clash, I would think.
Yeah, that must have been quite difficult.
But we still shared the same bus as opposed to...
Oh, yeah, of course you did. Of course, but you've been through so much. Yeah. I mean, goodness me, you really have. You must miss him. You must really miss him. There must be times you think, I must tell him about that, and then he's not there.
No, I get times, and I dreamt about him a lot for the first year or so, and I think some of the others did, and you would suddenly be somewhere, and Rick would be there, and I thought you were dead. And he would go, yeah, I know. And we would just carry on. So, well, that's Rick. You'd expect Rick to do something like that. Right. But plus the day he did actually die, he left this room on a stretcher and they said he was gone, and yet the following morning he was on a life support system, and by the afternoon he was sat up having a cup of tea. How does Rick do that? And he could do things like that. So I dream that he's still there, or he comes back, and we just go, all right, and we just carry on as though nothing's happened.
Because you've got that shorthand over such a long period of time as well.
And we used to joke about this a lot, which one of us would die first and how the other would deal with it. So we are, you know, sometimes people, it's a bit morbid, or I didn't cry and stuff like that. And
but you felt it.
I felt it a while after. I was on the bus coming back from somewhere the year before, whenever it was, and I listened to a song of his that I particularly liked, and I had a little well up there, but we would never really boo terribly about each other. We knew each other too well to...
And you would always, it was always that kind of thing of it's that kind of having a laugh and
we would joke about
it, making a joke rather than and maybe giving each other a hug and you know, a very manly hug, that kind of thing, you know.
Occasionally we'd do a hug, usually at Christmas just before we got off the bus, honestly.
So,
end of the year hug and then carry on again.
You've been doing a tour with this book. How has that been? Because that must be so different from actually going out and performing the way that you normally do.
Well, I like to talk.
You do. I talk too much is what it's called.
Yeah, luckily it seems to be really working well, and So I quite look forward to it. There's still that moment before you walk on, you think, I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
And then I get on and it happens. And some of it is formatted, certain things have to be the same, but generally most of it is I just drift at tangents and they keep to pull me back and we run out of time, so...
It sounds great. It's a really, really good idea. There's also, you're also touring with this album as well, Rossi and Rickard. We talk too much.
Yeah, and that's the #1 country album.
I know.
I'm so
Who would ever have thought that would have been? It just shows you never know what directions life takes.
I'm really happy with it.
No,
really great girl, great singer, makes me sound good-ish.
Well, that's all right then, isn't it? You can't argue with that. Will you ever retire? I don't think you will.
Not until at least next week. Okay. I don't know. I keep thinking I'm going to retire and then I get enthused about something.
Yeah.
And I'm sat here doing this up. Getting up at this time in the morning, you're not well, you should stop doing that.
No, it's great. I think it's like I said, ultimate survivor. You know, you really are, and I'm so glad that you wrote a book that's
you look
honest.
So surprised. Ultimate survivor.
Because I've been interviewing you for years, for decades.
Isn't that a kettle calling the band?
No, a little bit. But it's a great book and it's a great read, Francis. It really is. Very, very interesting.
Thank you.
Long may you continue.
I will. Thank you.
Long may you continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.